안녕하세요. Welcome to week number 9 in Korea, which is also midterms week here at Soonchunhyang University. This video, as always, brought to you by a generous scholarship from the Benjamin A. Gilman International Foundation. Thanks, Gilman+Scholarship. Okay, so as I said, it's midterms week, which means different things depending on what kind of student you are. For the international students, it's not that hard, really, at least in my case. I can't speak for everyone, but for my history class and for our cultural internship class, it was just a take-home essay of, in the case of the CID class, cultural internship discussion, that class's essay was 3 pages, double-spaced. That's nothing. And then the history class was 3 to 5 pages, double-spaced, about the concept of history of the land versus history of the people. Basically, what that means is that the history of the land is more of the Western outlook on history, the history of the territory that the country currently controls. It's also what China applies. In a nutshell, it's more important about what's within the boundaries of the country now, as opposed to maybe the history of one people in particular. And with a country like the US or China, where it's ethnically diverse, it's really hard to have a history of the people when everybody's from a different place. History of the people then is just ignoring the territory. It's just the history of one people, no matter where they've lived. And so that's what you would find in Korea, because like the Palhe Kingdom ruled over lands now in Manchuria, which is part of the People's Republic of China. May have mentioned that before. Anyway, so other things going on during midterms for me, anyway, so the case of the international student. 2 exams today, both in Korean speaking and Korean writing. Not really that hard. It's the type of stuff that we were covering mostly in 101 at Portland+State, and apparently Class 1D, which is the level right below us, has caught up with us to the point where our exam was exactly the same one that they took. And so somebody from the class is actually going to the office today to complain about that, about the fact that we're not as advanced as we should be. I'm just kind of taking it as it comes, because I found out pretty early in the term that it was too late to go to the next level up. So I'm learning more Korean just by talking to my roommate, talking to Korean friends. I got a dictionary too, which is pretty helpful when I'm trying to find like a particular word that's not in a phrase book. Other than that, after I finished the history paper last week, the cultural internship paper on yesterday afternoon, and those 2 exams today, that's it. There's no more classes this week. The Korean students, on the other hand, it's a really stressful week because they can have up to 4 exams this week, and because of the heavy focus on education in Korea, that means that they're studying very, very hard. My roommate was up until about 2 in the morning. He went to sleep until 6, then got back up, did a little bit more studying, went back to sleep. So really, really dedicated study here from all the Korean guys. I assume the girls too. Like, my friend's roommate is giving a presentation this week. He's also got a couple exams. He has another exam next week. One of my exchange partners told me that he has 2 more tests this term just for his major. So it's a lot more stressful if you're a regular Korean student. So, but where does that leave the international student? Well, it leaves me, at least, with a 5-day weekend. It's the longest amount of time we've had off since we got here, and it's the longest time we'll have off until finals probably. But then again, during finals, I'm going to be packing to come home, so I'm going to try and get some different day trips out of this 5-day weekend. Tomorrow, probably going hiking over at Namsan Mountain Park, which is actually near Seoul. My friend wanted to go somewhere that's not in the city, somewhere a little bit more natural, so we found that, and we're going to go. And in part 2 of this week's video blog, I'll continue the discussion of midterms week and, the implications of that, and just in general how things are going, maybe some things I've noticed. Watch part 2.